But we begin with breaking news.
The city of Detroit is lucky to have the finest police force in America, and tonight the whole city mourns one of our heroes.
And that hero's name is Officer Rashean McClain. The 16-year veteran of the force lost his life last night after being shot by a man armed with a high-powered rifle. McClain's partner, Philippe Bottombisi, was shot in the leg. He's recovering tonight at Sinai Grace Hospital.
And we are learning now startling new insight into what Chief Craig calls a tactical-style attack by the gunman. Sean Lay, live at that home on Detroit's west side where this all happened. Sean?
Heartbreaking day for the city and Detroit police. This gunman, alleged gunman, 28 years old. He went to prison, or was convicted at age 14 for an initial home invasion, just did 8 years in prison, to be clear, for violent crimes, paroled in March of 2019. We're told police say he arrived at this home carrying this weapon and got inside that home around 7:30 last night. Chief Craig saying it was Officer Rashean McClain, calling him a hero and a leader for leading his team into the home with no lights on the first floor here to try to go get that gunman.
It sounded like it was a war out here.
This man is an eyewitness to the chaos that unfolded inside this home on Wyoming at Chippewa on Detroit's west side Wednesday night. In the past few weeks, the home has been the intense focus of a domestic violence dispute. The target, a young woman who lives here, with an older woman who is in a wheelchair. You'll notice the front window has bullet holes in it. Those are from 2 weeks ago when police believe the suspect stood outside and shot up the house. This time, we're told the gunman came back, somehow got into the home and turned off all the lights.
Outside before the police got here, and the house was totally dark.
With the lights suddenly turned off, people inside the home started running out. When police ran in to find the gunman, they were led by 46-year-old DPD veteran Rashean McClain and 2.5-year vet Philippe Bottombisi, who is 32. Chief Craig says McClain was a hero, leading 3 other officers down those basement stairs.
In fact, it may have been intentional by the suspect that the upper level and second level, the lights were out.
But the lights in the basement were on, luring those officers. The 28-year-old gunman jumped in front of the stairs and fired twice.
Given in the way and the manner this suspect in which he was deploying inside of the house, it was clear that he had some type of tactical training.
Officer McClain was hit in the neck, and Bottombisi was hit in his leg. The gunman then ran outside, and another gun battle with police broke out.
But he continued to evade the officers.
Both wounded officers were put into squad cars and rushed off to Sinai Grace, where hundreds of officers arrived, knowing how grave the situation was for Officer Rashean McClain.
First one in the door, first one down the stairs to confront an armed suspect.
Rashean McClain, the officer, 16-year veteran, was a husband and a father of 2. His partner last night, Philippe Bottombisi, we are told he suffered a very bad gunshot wound to his leg. The chief says there were concerns about paralysis in the hospital last night. The chief visited him. He said he was in a lot of pain, but should pull through. The suspect here, the suspected gunman, being treated at the same hospital for a gunshot wound to his arm. Kimberly Devin, back to you. Intense day out here.
There's no doubt, Sean. No charges then yet against the suspect.
That's why we're not naming him right now.
Yeah.
Kim Worthy also saying the police run into danger to protect us. We must never forget this and should not need a horrible tragedy to remind us. No charges yet. Also, the gunman ran out the front door, past the officers that he shot, right down this sidewalk. Live at 6 o'clock. We're tracking his every move. We'll show you how he almost cornered himself right behind a home here.
So I'll certainly pass it along as soon as charges are filed as well. All right, Sean. There were many moving moments at today's news conference with the mayor and the chief.
Yeah, a news conference that was hard to have. Well, we have posted the full video of it on clickondetroit.com. It's the top story right on the center of the homepage.